The following podcast has been paid for by the Comic Movie Marks.
A menage a trois of pain.
Usually you pay double for that kind of action, Cotton.
I guess since it's our show, we'll kick it off in our way.
Yep.
Welcome to the Ping Pong Flick Show. I'm
You sound different, Chris.
Yeah, I know.
Or Comic Movie Marks. Or
Yep. Here we are. Welcome. We have two fantastic guests on the other line. We have Mr. Ping Pong Flicks himself, Chris Wong-Swenson.
Aloha. Good morning.
Insert clapping applause here. And we have Dave, the film junkie.
What's happening, guys?
Insert booze.
Insert boo, boo, that man. Boo this man.
MCU fanboy.
That's me, guys. I'm wearing my Spidey shirt. Tom Holland Spidey.
I better be a Spider-Man t-shirt.
Oh, you better believe it.
Spider-Man.
It's my new favorite movie.
Oh, yes. I'm so glad.
I got my jersey on.
Well, we got it together. We've seen a lot in our mentions and comments and stuff that everybody wanted this to come together right now. Over me. But we finally got it together, all three here, and ready to talk about some nonsense, I guess.
All three shows?
Three shows, yes.
Okay.
I keep forgetting that we're not one person.
we might as well
personalities, I always thought.
Yeah, exactly. We have about half a brain, so
yeah.
One combined brain between the two of us. I really hope that this episode is as good as what we should have recorded sitting at the Jones coffee thing.
Pretty much.
As soon as we walked out of that, I was like, man, we should have just had our mic on record.
We should have hit record.
Well, I don't know. Dave and Chris started spoiling Shazam.
My bad.
Because Shane couldn't keep his mouth shut.
Yeah.
You could have walked away. You could easily walk away.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not going to walk
I'll have
away.
coffee somewhere else.
It's like a car
Exactly.
crash. You're just going to stare.
You wanted to know as much as I did. Yeah, I started asking a bunch of questions, and they're like, "Are you sure you want to ruin it?" Yes. Just tell me everything.
It's like you wanted us to open that lid.
So we all had about a week now since SnyderCon, or almost a week. Well, from this recording, 6 days. So
There we go.
Still surreal, man. It's really surreal. Could not believe what had happened. I mean, crazy from when we met all the way to the art center. It was like a blur, but it was like, that actually happened?
It kind of feels that way. It's just crazy how now that video is now making the rounds of him saying it exists, because, I mean, I saw that video probably, Monday, Tuesday, it started making the rounds, and now it's on hitting all the big sites, which is, that's nice.
I still can't understand a fucking words being said in it, but I'll just believe everybody else.
Yeah, I actually saw somebody try to transcribe it, and they said, he said trilogy cut. I'm like, what? He did not say trilogy cut.
No, I don't know.
And people were freaking out. I'm like, what's a trilogy cut? What? That's interesting. But yeah, I was like, no, that's just got to be bad transcription right there.
Some people had done the audio fixing of that. There was two others, but I don't know. After a while, you keep hearing the same thing, and it starts to sound like something
really
else.
does.
Yeah, exactly.
You start getting all delusional, like, what the hell did you say? Am I hearing it right?
I'm almost positive I heard an audio fixed one on, I don't even remember where it was. I was just scrolling through, and then I heard the audio again for like the 80th time, and it happened to be a little bit clearer that time. And that's when I could finally hear, okay, he does say that it's done, it's all done, or something to that effect. Finally. But yeah, in most cases, and I get it, the guy was having whoever that lady at the very beginning of the line, the handler or whatever the heck she was,
Her.
record it
Jesus.
for him, I'm assuming. So it's a little bit further away, and there's just so much background noise and stuff like that. But I mean, I guess we'll take it for what it is.
This is our version of, is it a blue dress? Or
Yeah.
Pretty much is. But it's just so great that, I mean, I think, Matt, you were the only one that realized that he circled the number. What exactly happened? Because I wasn't paying attention. I was down the line talking to either Deborah or Larry or whatever. What did he actually point it? He actually pointed at it, right?
Yeah, he circled it on my poster before I even realized it.
Yeah.
And I said, hypothetically, if there is another cut, because I wasn't sure what the hell you have to say anymore, because he seems pretty direct now about it.
Yeah.
But just in case, I said, hypothetically, if there is another cut, how long, what's the runtime, and how complete are the visual effects?
That's right.
And he smiled at me, he pointed down at the circle, he said, that's your runtime. And then he looked at me, smiled again, and said, the visual effects incomplete.
There you go.
And I was just like, thank you. And that is something that in hindsight now, I kind of regret that was the only thing I really said to him.
Oh, I know. Dude, trust me. There's so many things I wanted to tell him. I wanted to talk to him like personally and just be like, hey, man, hey, I hear you guys.
Yeah, so it kind of made me regret not going Friday. It kind of made me regret not going Friday where it was much more personal.
Oh, I know, yeah, because there was a bunch of people that took pictures with him like in the theater, standing next to him. And I'm like,
Right.
But when it came to our night, it was so jam packed. It was just, it was an overall event. So they were like, okay, you got to go over here now. Oh, you got to get done. You got to wrap it up. Go, go, go. You know, and I know a lot of people.
And Zach was super
he was tired and a little tipsy too. But yeah, you could tell.
Everybody was tired.
Yeah, he was sucking back those margaritas, having a good time. That's good. You know, I'm like jealous. I wanted to drink with the guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I gotta like go over to Jones's coffee shop and just like camp, like a little stalker.
Yeah, you're the closest.
I'll be the guy in the corner, like 5 coffees deep, just like where is he? Where is he? Where is he? You know, just like shaking.
Where is he?
My precious.
Yes, there you are. Just coming out, Snyder.
Yeah.
Remember me? Yeah. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I am. I'm an hour away. Trust me. I'm tempted.
There.
One thing, actually, I haven't mentioned yet on any of the stuff we've talked about is when I did slide down to Deborah Snyder, she kind of looked at my poster and she's like, huh, did he circle that? Or did you talk about it? Or she kind of questioned why it was circled. I was like, but it seemed like a lot of other people's posters were too. But for some reason, she asked me, did I ask about it, or kind of like, why did he circle that?
It's so secret he didn't even tell his wife.
Really? Yeah. Are they not on the same page?
That's crazy.
She's like, I didn't know he put that there.
It's crazy too, because you look at the words around it, the titles of all the movies around it. They have the minutes of each cut around the logo. I didn't even realize that at first. I just saw the titles. Yeah.
I didn't realize
that makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense. Because a lot of people were, of course, like when I posted my video about it, they're like, "Well, maybe it means April 21st. Yeah, maybe it means that." I'm like, "No."
I saw that as well.
God.
Yeah, that blew me away. I'm like,
Stop
"Come on,
it.
guys.
Let's be real here. Come on, we're relax.
Yeah,
you nerds."
I had some people say 2 hours and 14 minutes. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Oh yeah, we got an extra
cut 14 minutes more than what we got.
Sweet.
Yeah, I know. It's only 14 minutes.
Those are people who have
look at all his other movies. It's always over 3 hours.
Those are people who never have watched a Zack Snyder movie in their entire life. If they're saying, "Oh yeah, it's probably 2 hours and 14 minutes," sure,
right?
Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
I'm sure it was a genuine question. They were just making sure, but I was just still like, no, it's the theme of the poster. If you look, you see there.
Say it out loud, and then you know how ridiculous it sounds. Snyder making anything under 3 hours? Probably not.
No,
Under 3 hours?
that's a world.
crazy.
That's a world I don't want to live in, right there.
Unless
exactly.
Unless it's determined by
I know. Ooh. Wow, that was a nice little silence.
Well, I think it's 3-way call. You know, we got a menage a trois going here, so we're trying not to talk over each other.
Yeah,
So I think that's.
It's a whole bunch of voices. That's all what it is. I gotta mention, that lady, man, she was pushing. She was like, one question. Well, she told me one question and one thing to sign. And so after I got my one question, she's all right, keep going. And I was like, oh, I forgot, because I bought coffee for Kono coffee for Zack Snyder. So I pulled it out and she yelled at me. She's like, I said one thing to sign, and Zach's like, it's fine. She
was annoying.
And I was like, no, this is a gift. And she's like, oh, okay.
Give him drugs. No, I'm gonna have him sign my coffee.
I know. Sign my coffee that I'm giving it to him.
Yeah, and she kind of messed up my the intro thing, but turns out it was funny because the first take actually went through, but she also took a bunch of pictures too. So it threw me off when I looked at my phone. I'm like, oh no, you didn't take video, you just took pictures. So then we tried it two more times. The second time she messed up, and then the third time we finally got it, which then ended up being the funniest take because then Snyder was like, he lost his train of thought. It was pretty funny.
That was pretty entertaining for me because I'm standing right behind her, watching her not figure out a smartphone and a record thing. She's like, is it recording? I don't know. And then I actually watched, because I was standing literally like right behind her, and I watched her keep pressing like the picture button. So I'm sure you got like 30 of those in the first take. And I'm like, what are you doing, lady? And I thought she was doing it on purpose. Yeah. And then she's like, I don't know if I got it or not. Like,
it ended up being great because she got that really good shot of like him like laughing at my stupid at my bat chin joke that I just made, and then so she actually ended up getting one or two good pictures, but it was pretty funny. Yeah, she was kind of annoying.
She was trying to animate the video, right? She was taking frame
I guess
by frame.
Stop motion. Yeah.
Stop motion. Yeah, it's cool. It's an art center. Probably.
She's a student.
I get why she was trying to move the line along, especially after found out that he had a flight at 4:30.
God,
he probably just went right to the airport.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like that's brutal. There was a significant amount of people in line still after us. I mean, we were towards the end, but still, he probably at least had another half an hour, 40 minutes of signing. Probably would have gotten out of there after midnight and then had to head to the airport. I'm not even sure. So that's pretty brutal, but it just kind of shows his commitment to the fans and stuff, which was pretty awesome.
Do we know where he was flying to? I know he's scouting like locations for Dead, right?
Yeah, they didn't say on that post.
Yeah, we don't know exactly where he was going, right?
I forgot where it was. No, I don't think so. Wasn't there someone posted? Maybe I should go look back. It was like, was it Mexico?
Oh, yeah. I think I saw something like one of the film locations is going to be Mexico or was it New Mexico? I don't know.
Right. Starts in June or July or something.
I think it's July 15th.
Oh, man. Can't find it right now.
That's what I think
July
I saw
15th?
last.
Okay.
I don't know.
See, I wanted to ask, like, there's so many questions, like, well, who's going to, did he cast anybody yet? Anybody starring in it?
Can I be a zombie in it, please?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I know, right? Oh, here we go. Yeah,
New Mexico.
July
Okay.
15th.
I don't know why I thought it was actual Mexico.
Going down to war ass, man.
Hardcore shit.
It looks like zombie town.
Yeah. Looks like it's Iran. Zombies selling drugs.
I really hope that Snyder didn't make that same mistake. He's like, sweet, I'm going to Mexico, and then ends up in New Mexico. What kind of shit is this?
Hey, Albuquerque's beautiful. Why are you talking shit about an entire state?
Hey, man, Breaking Bad was shot there.
We might have New Mexico.
That's true. Fair enough.
I haven't been to Albuquerque. It's actually really nice.
That's what I hear.
Just between the two, I mean, come on. If you're like, sweet, I'm going to go down to scope out locations in Mexico or New Mexico. Like, come on.
Yeah,
I think
you're going to want to go to the
food in New Mexico is more authentic, man.
Yeah, isn't it?
Probably.
Yeah, that's what I hear. Their Taco Bell is better.
No,
It's Taco Bell's better.
well, it's real.
It's not cat meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really sucks in hindsight, some of the questions I did want to ask him or just some of the things I wanted to mention to him. But yeah, I only was able to squeak out.
I wanted to see his phone.
A couple questions.
I wanted to see his phone and be like, hey, pull up your gallery. What do you got in there? Because you know he's got some shit. Oh, man.
You may or may not want to see
it. Yeah. I'm sure he's got a secret file for that. Hey, maybe I do want to see it.
Can you imagine all the black and white pictures of...
Wait, those are for Deborah? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like 300.
Oh, man. Oh. Hey, I'd like to see it. What? Okay.
But yeah, I was actually gonna, because all the movies and stuff. I remember one thing I actually recently when I watched Captain Marvel. I had to come home and I literally watched Man of Steel to like cleanse the palate.
No, Jesus.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Because it was so bad and I needed to like cleanse it. It sucks that I wasn't able to say more to him. Yeah, you just get those couple JL questions out and then that's get down the line.
Oh yeah. I woke up the next day feeling like great and then I went, I should have asked that. I should have mentioned that. This, that, and this. And it's just I didn't, I made the joke about the bat chin, and then did that the intro and everything, and then I moved on with Deborah, and I didn't realize I didn't even take pictures of like Deborah or Larry or blah blah. I was just so I don't know out of it after talking to him. Oh yeah.
The same thing, man. I was like, after I talked to him, I was kind of in a daze.
Do that.
And then my wife Mars just started talking to the people in front of me. I was just looking at them like an idiot. I was like, oh, here's a gift. And she's like talking to him like having a conversation. I'm just staring like an idiot. And I was like, they're probably looking at me like, what's this guy's deal?
Just standing there.
Yeah, and I'm like looking at Larry, and I like my mind is like I'm trying to ask him something, but it's not registering.
Did he ever answer that question why he wasn't the cinematographer on Man of Steel? Remember?
Yeah, I asked him.
Okay, yeah. What did he say about that?
He just said who the production corp company, which I think was like Cinecorp, like Christopher Nolan's.
Oh yeah.
Production company. They just didn't really know of him. I guess is how he put it, and they just went with Amir. God, I always forget his last name. The guy that did the cinematography for
I don't remember.
Amir something, and now I forget the other guy's name. Not the stunt guy, but the coordinator guy that was on the right side of Larry. He actually looked up at me.
Catrone, or whatever the heck his name is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said Larry was deeply missed on Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Why was he never back for JL too? Why did they grab
Fabian Wagner
the guy from Game of Thrones?
I think it was.
Yeah. Was it because
Was he filming Kong?
I guess he was doing Kong Skull Island. Well, it may have been Kong Skull Island. That could
Predator? No, Predator came out later. Ugh.
Yeah, but Predator's been in development forever.
That's
why they reshot it multiple times.
True.
that's true.
That movie was a disappointment.
It's the most fucked up movie next to JL in recent time, and no one talks about it.
I know, right? Nobody ever talks about how they fucked that movie up. Man, Jesus.
Nobody
Yeah,
really
they're like,
cared.
oh, whatever, another Predator movie. Big deal.
Whatever.
It's shitty. Move on.
Yeah.
It's just a beloved franchise.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah.
They had all the. They had. I mean,
no.
you know, and it's funny too because when I watched Triple Frontier, I went, why couldn't they just? They could have did something like this, and then have a Predator in there. There you go. There's your Predator movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, stop bringing it to like a fucking small town, and you're going to end up getting chased by a Predator through a high school or something like that. We've already seen that. Stop doing that. I don't know why they resort to that.
Because I think they did try doing. Well, I mean, what was that? The Predator.
Yeah, Alien versus Predator. Alien versus Predator. Yeah,
There's an
Requiem.
alien planet.
Oh yeah, there
still
was
the
that
jungle.
part. That one actually wasn't too
but
bad.
when they had the pianist try to be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh god.
That's
Adrian
right.
Brody, that's his name.
Yeah. They tried to jack him up, and I mean, he looked ripped, but it was like, come on, we're not buying it, dude. You don't exactly look like a soldier, but you're trying to pull it off. You're doing a good job, Mr. Brody.
Hey, apart from Freddy vs. Jason, I really liked Alien vs. Predator as a kid.
Did you
Or when I
really?
was younger, at least. Yeah.
The first one or the second one?
I don't even remember the second. I didn't even realize there was a second one,
Yeah.
actually. I just remember on DVD I had
there was a
both of
second
those,
one.
and I would watch them, and now in hindsight, they're so terrible.
They are.
But they're so good at the same time. Like, Freddy vs. Jason, it's such a terrible, like...
Freddy versus Jason, turned into like an action film. I mean, you literally had Freddy Krueger doing roundhouse kicks and shit. It was crazy. It really turned.
Exactly.
I love that film. Yeah, I love Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah, it's a guilty pleasure. It really is.
Exactly.
It's a guilty pleasure.
That's a great way to put it. And when I'm young, dumb, and all my blood cells are going somewhere else aside from my brain, it was perfect.
It's okay to have guilty pleasures that are crap.
Exactly.
That's the kind of movie you're like, I can't wait for the kids to die so they can fight. Let's get to the fight.
Off them already, please. Jeez.
Who cares about this? Yeah, I don't give a crap about these kids, man. Just kill each other.
But yeah, Alien vs. Predator. I still remember when that was being it wasn't out yet, but there was TV spots, there's commercials for it, and it kept saying not rated, and I went, are you kidding me? It's gonna be rated R. Just throw a rated R in there. And I remember I was taking a nap before I was going into work, and I had my eyes closed. I was drifting off, and I heard the TV spot for it, and all of a sudden it said rated PG-13. I literally shot up and went, "What?" Like, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I could not believe that they made it
PG-13.
PG-13. I was so pissed off that they did that. And then I remember,
clearly you remember that.
Oh yeah,
that
it was
thing
vivid.
like it was yesterday.
Oh yeah, it haunts
like
me to
last
this
week.
day. To this day, you don't even know. I ended up seeing it at a drive-in. It was the second movie. Wasn't the first movie. Wasn't the movie I went to go see. And I saw it at a drive-in, and I remember my girlfriend at the time, she passed out, and she kept waking up to me cracking up because of the shit that was in that movie. My God. I seriously thought that chick and that Predator were going to kiss at the end. Fuck. When they were looking at each other, I thought they were going to kiss. I thought they were going to kiss.
That's what they wanted to do. They just wanted to tease it a little bit.
Oh, so bad. So bad.
And that's how we got the Predator, you know, human Predator hybrid. Isn't that the question they asked?
Exactly.
Did someone fuck a Predator?
Yeah. I mean, geez, Alien Resurrection. Alien
got.
Resurrection. I mean, Ripley had sex with an alien, right? So why not? Joss Whedon, everybody. Joss Whedon. he wrote Resurrection, guys. Yeah, he did.
I don't know. I was disappointed with AvP. I think because I had all the Dark Horse comics and I read the books.
Played the game.
And it was nothing like that. I mean, it had some aspects where the leader Predator and what was her name? Naomi was supposed to be a Japanese lady, but
how dare they?
But all that's aspects and stuff like that. But they touched a little bit on the Dark Horse comics, but so I was kind of like a purist at that point in that day and age. Like if I watch it now, I probably appreciate it's like just lightly touching it, but
subtle callbacks.
Yeah, I was disappointed. Yeah.
Yes.
But bringing it back home,
dude, I love this. That this somehow transitioned
to Alien versus
AvP,
Freddy. Yes,
Freddy versus Jason.
That's right.
Like, maybe you guys know if Zack Snyder intended to call it Batman versus Superman. Like, or is that a studio thing where they wanted to sell more tickets by calling it Batman versus Superman? You know what I mean? Like, did he intend, maybe he might have wanted to call it something else?
That would have been a good question to ask instead of, what's your favorite Spider-Man?
What about the Wonder Woman theme?
I feel like the Wonder Woman theme guy pissed me off more than anybody, just because it was so like out of turn and just like, at least the other guy got the mic, got his opportunity, trolled us a little bit, and the fact that Snyder actually gave a response to the Wonder Woman theme.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
First he thought it was seen.
Yeah,
that's
he's like, what about it?
So he's trying to figure out what the hell you're talking about.
No, that's exactly what his response was. Like, what about it? Like, yeah. Like, what?
Yeah.
What's going on here, guy?
What about Patty Jenkins using it? I don't know. She could use it if she wanted to. Like, fucking move on.
Yeah, I think that question was
like,
worse. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even really mind the Spider-Man question. I know you did, Matt. But, you know, I was just like, yeah, whatever. But then, of course, I guess he got a lot of hell on Twitter. And I know there was a whole big thing about that. What's his name? Joe or whatever. There was like a whole thing that he might have gotten driven off Twitter for it, but I think he was gonna log off Twitter. Yeah, really? I was hearing things and I was like, what the hell? Come on, guys.
People actually figured out who it was?
Yeah, they did. And I guess he was getting a bunch of shit for it.
Okay. Dude, he was right behind us, and I don't even know who.
Yeah. His name was like Joe. I forgot exactly like what his Twitter handle was, but apparently he deactivated. But I'm hearing like I'm hearing two stories. Like, oh, he was gonna do it anyways because of such and such, or yeah, he was driven off because a bunch of fanboys came and attacked him. So I don't know.
Oh my god. Well, if you're gonna have a trolling question like that, he even led into it. He was trying to be a dick.
It's the biggest question on Twitter.
And then Zach even said,
that was
"Oh, that makes me nervous" or something, something to that effect. And you can just feel people are like, "Oh, here it comes." What's your favorite Spider-Man? I'm like, "Fuck you, dude."
Because first he's like, "I got a big question and a little question."
In that sense, that's pretty terrible. Because even Zach was like, which Twitter crowd are you talking about? Like, where is that on Twitter? I've never...
At least we know. We know now.
Yeah, we know now. It's kind of cool. It's like a collective. Like, fans here and there, and we all piece it together, judging from little information we gather from each other. Combine that together, which is nice.
Yeah, I hope I've seen some stuff like maybe it was in like the group chat that this kind of going on with about the whole trip where they were talking about for if they did a future one or something and had Man of Steel and Sucker Punch and then something. I think they threw in Justice League Snyder Cut or something like that. But
that was Will.
Yeah, it would be kind of cool, even if it wasn't Justice League, if he just did another thing or made it like an annual type thing where he's showing different movies and has a panel. And I think, at least for us, kind of like what we talked about early on, we would all be more prepared of like, okay, let's go on the Sucker Punch night or whatever, so we can ask him more questions. And
some of those guys, I mean, they met up with him at Jones's Coffee, and they talked to him for about 2 hours, some of those guys. And I was like, damn it. See, that's the time when you start really going, hey.
Now that you mention it, Mick D, I think you've met, he actually mentioned that he talked a little about Justice League, how Wonder Woman wasn't supposed to lighten up. She was getting harsher. She was getting more stronger, and not smiley as much and stuff like. So she's like getting, because she's seen so much. She's seen so much war. She's seen so much of that, and she's not, giving a crap anymore. And so I was like, yeah, you're right. When you watch Batman v Superman, you can see her strength. She seems like a stronger individual in Batman v Superman than in, the Joss Whedon version of Justice League. And to hear that's kind of, upsetting at the same time, because her power level, in a way, kind of like got smaller as when he got in Justice League, as opposed to getting stronger, which was what Mick D said Zack Snyder originally intended for her to.
I mean, she was the one that was supposed to give that final blow to Steppenwolf. I mean, she does, but of course it's not the way that it was supposed to be when she, strikes him. Yeah. I think what did she end up doing? Like breaking his fucking big ass axe
or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Axe after Superman.
Awesome ice breath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god, ice breath. Oh, terrible. But yeah, so I mean, she was supposed to give that final blow, so it was, I don't know, maybe there's a little bit of that and a little bit of her wanting to go back home, maybe she misses home and stuff, so just stuff I'm hearing.
Yeah, give her some character,
yeah.
Give her
some depth. Yeah,
God forbid
we do that. Yeah.
But yeah, I like that idea of another SnyderCon. I just looked it up now because you're saying about Man of Steel director's cut, Sucker Punch, and I'm looking at the 300 runtime, and it's less than 2 hours.
Wow.
I wonder if
I'm sure there was. I'm sure he cut it down. But didn't he say that Man of Steel there's no director's cut for Man of Steel, right?
Yeah, that was my question to him.
Yeah.
Was because that's probably my favorite movie from him. At least it's up there, and I was curious because he is known so much. I actually completely forgot about 300, but he's known for having director's cuts, and fucking Sucker Punch has an extended cut or whatever.
Apparently an unknown cut. Too,
yeah, that we did. Yeah.
So I was curious, and I asked him, was there plans to have a director's cut? And he said, no, they filmed a couple extra scenes, but that was pretty much his version.
Nothing that changed the story.
Right. Yeah. Nothing important or anything like that. So it kind of makes me wonder, and Matt and I had talked about this, if Nolan was able to keep Warner Brothers off his back.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah. That's exactly what it was.
And so he was able just to make his movie. Maybe it wasn't 3 hours long. It's still a hefty movie. I can't even remember the runtime of Man of Steel. But yeah. So it's still a decent length, but, but it's not 3 hours. So I was curious, and not that I felt that anything was missing from Man of Steel. Like I feel like it's a solid movie, but I was just curious why, and that was kind of the answer. But it'd still be cool to have him like with a panel of people show the movie and then talk about it.
Just ask questions, behind the scenes questions and stuff. We can learn weird things like we did about Watchmen, apparently almost being stopped by Fox.
Yeah.
I mean,
wow. Yeah,
that's kind of cool. Weird. That's crazy. And I liked how he said, "We're Watchmen. There's nobody watching them. Like they just kept doing what they wanted to do with that film, and then everything changed with Batman v Superman."
Well, I think after Man of Steel, everything kind of.
It was after Man of Steel, everything, right? Yeah,
that's when it all started. People were like, "Wait a minute, that's not my Superman." Yeah, that's when that all started. It's like, God damn it! But I noticed that people are coming around more, like slowly with Man of Steel. People are going back and going, you know what, this movie is actually pretty damn good. And I think that's going to happen with BVS as well. I mean, I still remember when Schnepp was not a fan of BVS at first, and then when he went and saw the Ultimate Cut, he like almost completely flipped.
Yeah, he almost completely
flipped.
Yeah, he had a 180.
He was very shocked about how much he liked it. And so was I. I was like, wow, what the fuck? And then I think he also had what's his name, Scoopy Pants, also on that little, and that guy, Jesus Christ, let's not talk about that guy.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, but so a lot of people were doing like a little flip like that. So I think that's going to continually happen. And then once I mean, who knows what's going to happen with Man of Steel 2? I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard anything.
I hope it means that people are so accustomed right now to lighthearted, fun movies, and they're like, no, we kind of want something else.
When Logan came out, I was really hoping that there was going to be like a switch, like a turn, like, hey,
a renaissance.
Yes, I really thought that was going to happen. I was even talking to like a couple people like within the community. I'm like, you know what? There's a turn that's happening. Everybody's loving Logan. It is a super dark, adult CBM. You know, maybe people are going to crave more of this. And it just kind of, okay, that's it. We're done. We're back. Yeah. So, I don't know.
Well, I heard some people say it was too dark.
Oh, jeez.
I started hearing that. I started hearing rumblings afterwards. Like, you can only watch that movie once. You can't watch it more than once. Are you kidding me?
Fuck.
Okay. I started hearing that more and more, and I was just like, God damn it.
They should wake that up.
There you go.
I hope Matt Reeves has his Batman just murdering the fuck out of people right now.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so awesome.
Well, I know, you got to wonder what is he seeing all this? Is he like, you got to wonder what he's doing with his script after seeing all this stuff. Like, you know what? Just do it. Just do it, Matt. They all have done it. You know, but you can he can also have the code as well. Don't worry. You know, you can work that into your story.
It's pretending not to kill when you kill.
It's just Batman indirectly killing.
Yeah.
I think somebody was saying that.
And laughing about it.
Pretty much
then it's all good. As long as he's smiling and, you know, it's fine. Matt and I, we even talked about this when we did like our Civil War breakdown of like, it's amazing how they are just nuking guys or you know, dropping bullets. And
it was Falcon. That was the one that turned us around.
Yeah, that was
the very beginning scene. Falcon puts his little wings up, shoots like 4 missiles, just literally blows the shit out of like
walks away.
Four guys, but he's got like a smile on his face and walks away.
Yep,
like,
and it's fine. No big deal.
He just missiled 4 dudes.
Batman has a code, guys. He's got a code.
Right. Yes, and even in Winter Soldier, to a large degree, some of the shit that he does with his shield, you're like, okay, that dude at least has to be paralyzed. At least. If he doesn't have internal bleeding and die, but no, it's fine. Yeah, he doesn't have the code.
Yeah,
so
you got the strongest metal, like, and then it's being thrown at your face. Yeah, it's gonna cause you damage.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, the first Iron Man is just killing people.
Yeah. You can barely take a Nerf ball to the face.
Yeah.
My nose hurts and stuff, turns red. Oh, God damn it!
I know, but everybody just always fixates on that damn code. It's like, well, that's why the story works, because it's 20 years and he's lost it. You know, it's peppered throughout the whole movie. Like right at the beginning when Alfred says new rules, it's like, there you go, right there. Even Alfred's going, what the fuck you doing, dear? You're branding people now? The hell's wrong with you? Yeah,
turns good men cruel.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, but whatever.
I mean, that's his arc, because he's already at the end of his line. You know, he's at the end. He doesn't give a shit anymore.
I mean, well, that's what BVS is all about. I mean, you have a Batman and Superman not acting like Batman and Superman, and they're, fighting against each other. And then at the end, while Superman dies, he's going to come back as that Superman, and Batman is going to be that Batman. You know, he's like, oh, wait, I lost my way. I was about to kill this guy just because, he's powerful, and then he realizes how fucking stupid he was.
Right.
But then we got Justice League, so that was cool.
Yeah, that was great. He smiled in there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's got the Batman theme. The only Batman.
When they show his face and he has that goofy smile on it, I just remember I was in the Warner Brothers theater, and I just started laughing. I couldn't help it. And oh man, I just remember walking out of. I was talking to 2 guys, and we were walking back to the parking lot, and I just turned to the guy behind me. I was walking behind me who I was talking with, and I just went, man, they really just de-Snydered the shit out of that movie, didn't they? And he was like, yep. Yeah, it just left a bad taste. And then I'm sitting there going, how do I react to this? Because everybody's waiting for my first reaction that I always do, And I just remember walking to my car going, I don't know how the fuck I'm supposed to react to this. What am I going to say? What do I do? What do I, I didn't want to I didn't want to completely shit on it, but I didn't want to give the illusion that I loved it. It was, I struggled, guys. I struggled.
I remember we were actually, for the first time, like almost quiet walking out of the theater.
You feel like you got beat up.
Shocked.
Yeah, you feel like I felt like just cheated big time, especially after talking about this movie for, years and defending shit and thinking, oh no, it's fine, guys. They didn't do that much. They wouldn't try to reshoot the whole movie. Fuck. They did. They really did.
My reaction was slower. I was like, wow, that was great. Wow. And then because all my friends were loving it. And I'm like, and these friends actually don't like Batman v Superman of Steel, so it's kind of like a refreshing change. And then as days go by, and even after my review, I'm like, wait a minute, there is something wrong with that thing. And watching it again, and I watched the Korean version. You know, they released it online, and it was all have Korean subtitles. And I'm looking at that like, there's something wrong with this movie.
That's when you realized.
Besides the obvious mustache, and then as it's hard to watch now. It's just sad.
I can't even watch it now.
Yeah, my kids really enjoyed it, so that's why I bought it on Blu-ray or whatever. But that should tell you right there.
Don't lie, you love it.
Kids.
Come on.
No, that should tell you right there. Kind of like when they just love every aspect of it. That's pretty eye-opening. And at the time, they probably would have been 12 and 13, maybe something around there, 11, 12. So they're the demographic, I guess, that most people wanted. And I just remember thinking like, man, I had so many questions that were going to get answered. And the mustache, the shitty CGI, that's surface level.
I couldn't believe it. And I felt bad for Cavill with all that, because I went to the premiere or when they were walking in, and I'm just going, man, this guy's going to see his face like that. The first thing they're going to see,
Yeah, Shane's reaction to that first scene was hilarious.
Was it?
It was like, man, did you hear how stupid what the questions were that those kids asked? That's gotta be terrible. He's like, I didn't hear a fucking thing. I couldn't stop staring at his face.
You open your movie with that. Yeah. Like that, and I just remember Matt and I looking at each other like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Like and then pretty much from there on, there's some decent aspects,
man.
and I feel like you're almost trying to pull out Snyder's scenes in there. Like maybe that's a Snyder scene, and then you spend the entire movie trying to do that as opposed to actually paying attention. Not that there's much to pay attention to. The dialogue is terrible. The score is not very good. Actually, in some aspects, the score angers me. Like just how generic, especially we were talking about, Dave and us were talking about this in line, where the top hat villain is walking into the what is it, a bank or something like that? Museum, yeah. And he's got the terrible oh my gosh. I'm like, how can you get much more generic? Like it's almost like he took the score right out of Lego Batman, the video game, and just threw it in there and was like, yeah, it's good. Yeah, it fucking fits perfectly. It's so frustrating.
It's like it's so 90s.
Yeah.
But even Wonder Woman score was like
good.
It was like, don't
no,
try
no
to
guitar. It was all strings.
Yeah.
It's like, what? No.
I was like, it was like a fan trying to make that same copy that.
Well, yeah, it's like a band. Like, you see the high school band. Let's all learn a song.
Yeah,
that's what it sounded like. The Wonder Woman score in there sounded like a high school band, marching band, fucking playing that shit.
And you're cheering, you're clapping. You say, "Oh, my daughter and son,
exactly.
Oh, they're so good. They really did it."
Like here's the tuba in the back.
I wonder what Zimmer thought about that. I really wonder what Zimmer thought about that. I want to know what he. Somebody's got to ask him that in an interview. What did he think of Elfman's version of that? I wonder what he thinks. Yeah.
He's drinking. He's like down and like, I think it sounds better if I start drinking.
Well, that was actually one of the funny things from the Watchmen Q&A was there was this guy, I guess he probably was part of the school somehow, maybe a teacher or something. But when they set up those little director seats and stuff, there were 6 director seats at the time, those little chairs or whatever. And he goes to put a bottle of water and he puts it on the chair on the actual seat. And I'm kind of make the joke. I'm like, hopefully everybody sees that before they sit down. But he puts the little bottles on there and he only had 5 bottles of water to the 6 seats. So he runs all the way back, runs back, and then grabs another bottle, puts it on the chair. Zack Snyder comes out, looks at the bottle of water, grabs it, throws it off stage, and has his beer in his hand.
Nice. Damn it.
Awesome.
Anybody get that on video? I hope. I got fun.
No.
We were just watching the whole thing unfold.
I was just laughing.
Like the guy.
And then we were looking at the old guy. He just did all that. He's just like shaking his head like, fuck.
Damn it.
Should have known.
That's why there was only 5.
Yeah. Someone already knew.
He just looked at that water bottle in disgust and just chucked it. It was great.
But he was drinking beer, and then what? On the BVS, he was drinking martini.
No, it was
margaritas.
Yeah.
Oh, margaritas. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he was a little bit more loose. You guys seen Dumbo?
No, I haven't.
Quick change. Yeah. All right, no.
There's some movies that I'll never be able to watch because from a kid. Like Dumbo is one of them. That's the most depressing kids movie.
Oh, dude.
I remember that and The Fox and the Hound.
Oh, The Fox and the Hound.
I don't even remember Fox and the Hound. Damn.
That's all I remember.
Nice.
Oh man.
And that shit fucking killed me as a kid. I ain't rewatching that shit.
Oh,
Just like
man.
The Lion King when Mufasa dies.
my gosh.
I ain't going in there.
And we can't fast forward.
No.
Yeah, I ain't going in there. I mean, I don't want to hear fucking Mufasa die again.
Oh man.
And it's gonna be more realistic this time.
It's gonna be live action.
Yeah.
I bawled like a bitch, and still to this day.
So I saw Dumbo, and that fucking little CGI shit got me like full of emotions at various times, man. I was like, what the hell? This little CGI little shit is making me go. I literally like the times that you want to, like, when he flies, stuff like that, you're like, ha, and I had to catch myself like, really? Damn you, Tim Burton. Damn you, Tim Burton. I don't know. Yeah, I was like, yeah.
Is it true there's not much of him in there?
What?
Like, someone mentioned it was like Tim Burton made like a Transformers version of Dumbo, meaning there's more humans than Dumbo. Or something
there's
like
plenty of Dumbo.
Is that true?
It's not true. They of course have a human story that because they have to do that, but it's very much Dumbo is like front and center in the star of it. So cool. It's not that bad. Michael Keaton though, whew. He needed to bring it down. He needed to reel it in just a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah.
Really?
I honestly think that Tim Burton walked up to Michael Keaton and said, hey, just imagine how Johnny Depp would play this role and try to do that.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wanna go nuts?
Let's go nuts. Let's get nuts.
You wanna
Yeah.
go nuts? Let's go.
Yeah. Remember that scene where you did that? Yeah. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
he just kind of his performance is a little over the top.
Overacts.
Yeah. So, I mean, Danny DeVito too, but you expect it from Danny DeVito. So, but overall, not bad. Not bad.
Yeah, still this. Never mind. That's spoilers. I'm not gonna, I was about to ask a question, but never mind.
No.
You guys excited for Aladdin though?
Yeah.
Like, what do you guys even think of like all these remakes of these fucking
Disney
movies and stuff? Like, I mean, I don't know. I didn't really watch Beauty and the Beast as a kid or anything like that, but
I still have yet to see that one. No.
my girlfriend's a big fan of it, and like we went and watched that. And it, from what I gather, she almost said it's like shot for shot remake and stuff. Yeah. And then there's kind of like a controversy. I guess like the people that originally did this aren't getting paid for that.
Yeah,
They're
I heard
not
about
being
that.
credited at all.
Yeah.
The original story writers and artists.
Oh yeah, no, I heard that. Yeah,
Yeah.
even the lyricists and all those, they're not getting royalties for all the songs
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
yeah, none of that,
Yep.
none of that. And so it's like this
That's
guy,
terrible.
these people get these movies pretty much handed to them on a platter, like you know, this is how we can shoot it and stuff. But they're getting all the
Right.
credit for it.
That should.
I don't know if it's because the licenses run out, but I don't know how that works legality wise.
Yeah,
Maybe they signed a contract that's only good for so many
Yeah,
years.
'cause some
And then
of them are
Disney
old.
saw that. And Disney, all right, it's done. We don't have to pay him. Let's make some remakes.
Live
Cash
action
grab.
I was gonna say it was funny before we went and saw the live action Beauty and the Beast. My wife and I watched the animated version, and it sounds very weird, and it's probably because we do this show. But I was picking it apart. I'm like, this has a lot of plot holes in it and even my wife, who doesn't do this show, was like, yeah, this movie is missing a lot of scenes. And then they do the live action version, and they almost like filled that in. So it was kind of weird. Like, I don't know if that was intentional, that they're like, hey, there's a lot missing from this. Let's do a live action, almost shot for shot remake, and then we're going to fill in the empty holes. And so for me, that's why I kind of enjoyed it, because it was a movie from my childhood, and then now they've actually made it a little bit better, so the story makes more sense. So that was just kind of, and like I said, my wife had the same thought of like, man, for an animated movie, this has a just gaping plot holes throughout the whole thing.
Well, that's what they should.
My wife didn't care for it.
Yeah, that's what they should do, really. If they're going to take like something, because those animated movies are like, what, an hour and 5 minutes, hour and 10 minutes? So you have to
Right.
make it feel like 2
For sure,
hours. So I think that's what they should do. I mean, when it came to Jungle Book, I thought Jungle Book was really done really well. That's why I'm kind of looking forward to
like
Lion.
Jungle Book.
Yeah. But I didn't see Cinderella. I didn't see Beauty and the Beast. When it comes to Aladdin, it's funny because my brother, when we saw Dumbo on Thursday, and I was mentioning, some people aren't liking it probably because it's Tim Burton. There's probably going to be some dark Tim Burton aspects and everything. And I just kind of went, it's just really weird that Disney is just grabbing these directors that you would not think would direct a live action Disney movie like Tim Burton. And then I went, guess who's directing Aladdin? Guy Ritchie. And he went, what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, you know, the guy who directed Snatch. Yeah. And Lock, Stock, Two Smoking. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what are you doing? I still can't wrap my brain around him doing it. I'm hoping there's some Guy Ritchie-isms in the movie, like there was in King Arthur. There was like, you know, some scenes where you're like, oh yeah, that's totally Guy Ritchie right there. You know, I don't know how you guys felt about King Arthur. What'd you guys think of that movie?
I
haven't watched it.
Yeah, I haven't watched it either.
Oh, Jesus Christ, guys. Get on it. Come on.
DC logo.
No. There's no DC logo.
I know, right?
Didn't you hear where the DC movie marks now?
Yeah, we're the DC.
You gotta have
Well, I saw Cinderella. What about you?
Oh, damn it.
That's right.
You got
I
me.
saw Cinderella.
Actually, I did see Cinderella. Like, that's probably in my modern adulthood the most PG like kid movie I've ever watched. In my I just could not get over how there was like no. They're like, there is nothing to this. This is such a kid movie. And like, it's just shocked me how like innocent I guess it was. Yeah. You can say the movie, like there's just no language. There's just nothing to it. And I was like, wow, I am definitely like.
That movie
what is that? I'm trying to figure out the words I want to like. Not sadistic, but like, I just have like some evil tendencies apparently or something.
So sadistic.
You're mature.
Like, she should just beat the shit out of that stepsister. What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Grab something and start beating her.
No, we were bored with that one. My wife and I were like, it's pretty much the cartoon. We thought they were going to do something different, maybe add a twist in there with the mother or something. Nope. It's pretty much the cartoons.
I don't remember much of the cartoon, but I think what they did add though was the dad had more of a presence. In the movie, I can't believe we're talking about this, but
why are we talking about Cinderella? What the?
But yeah, I think that was the big difference in that one.
The watch duration of this episode is probably going to tank.
They're like, what are they talking about? Let's get back.
And then people make it back.
Let's bring it back.
Let's bring it back to.
Oh man.
God.
Well, I guess the last thing that maybe we can talk about. Have you guys avoided any of the trolls and all the nonsense with BVS and just how it's now come full circle again, and people are bitching about now Snyder saying "wake the fuck up." For me, I've had to catch myself a couple times. Like I'll have a retweet typed out, and I'm like, you know what, fuck it, it's not worth it. And then I delete the retweet and then kind of move on with my life. But a couple times,
I never give them any attention. When I see that, I ignore it. If I give them any attention, that gives them power.
Yeah, right.
So I was like, I ignore it. I'll just give attention to the positive ones, and that's it.
See, there you go. That's kind of the approach I'm taking now. I used to be on the front lines doing all that shit before, and just go off on rants and stuff. I mean, I'll still rant about certain things, but I'm not gonna. I still have a Batman killing video that I'm gonna try to get out this weekend. That's hopefully nice. It's more funny than anything, I think. So. Yeah, when it comes to all that stuff, I just kind of almost just want to make a joke out of it now, not just get mad about it or go let's start yelling at this person, yelling at that person. So yeah, I think it's the best way to take that approach. Like I said, talk about the good stuff because there's a lot of people out there that love this shit.
Yeah, we got one comment just recently on because we kind of touched on the Batman killing thing, and it's like, well, why didn't Snyder say that that Batman was part of the Watchmen universe from the start? And I was like that's I was like, wow, you just like missed everything. And like, what the hell does that even mean? And a bunch of people are saying, well, if it's a realistic world, half his gadgets wouldn't even work anyway. and I was like, okay, you seriously, there's always you always suspend some disbelief. It's a movie, no matter what. Right. Even like those movies that say based on a true story, it's based, meaning the base of the story is based on true events, but there's always going to be Hollywood exaggerations every time. And you just, even if you want, when he says this is based in a real world, it's a real world that, it's the environment that we live in, the people that we deal with every day. That's the real world. It's not like...
Yeah, you're dealing with a fucking alien.
Yeah, it's like there's still an alien that flies around.
Yeah, gravity doesn't affect Superman, okay?
Powerful
like, obviously,
neighbor,
there's rules that are broken in the real world when it comes to Superman and just other things. There's always going to be you suspend some disbelief and stuff. But people now, like, if it's real world, his gadgets wouldn't work. You know how much it would be to make that car? No, you would have to have a mechanic. You'd have to have oil changes. And yeah.
You'd also have to be Bruce Wayne. Oh, wait. Problem solved. Fuck.
Jesus Christ.
It amazes me how many people, you know, with like the dialogue of Batman v Superman, how we were talking about earlier, that everything is laid out for you, that this is obviously a different Batman. And then it's even beat over your head even more in the ultimate cut. But then
there's a new kind of mean in him. Yeah.
Exactly the line that came to my mind.
Exactly. So he's
hunting.
You get it even more, and then it's almost like people don't like words, because then it goes to Snyder himself, and he has all of this stuff that he talks about, and you know, when he has the just wake the fuck up, I'm down the road, all that stuff, and that's all they pull from it. Yeah, everybody. And I think
he said mean words.
Take it out of context.
Yeah,
it was how he said it. It's not what he said. It's how he said it.
They just got triggered. It says, "What? Zach wants me to wake the fuck up."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It just,
they didn't hear anything else.
That's what frustrated me the most, and why. Yeah, you guys you're absolutely right. Take the high road only. You know, talk about the positive people, but that was the most frustrating. Where I was like, man, all of these people, are you that dumb? I'm not the smartest person by any means, but I can at least listen. You're not supposed to agree with me, asshole.
No.
I'm quietly nodding right now.
Well, I was just like, yes.
Dave's like, yeah, I listened to you for 2 hours.
I was being considerate, you know.
Say that again. But I can still watch Batman vs Superman and pull everything out that I need to. I can understand context, and it amazes me that all of these people pull shit out that it fits our narrative, and that's been the most frustrating that for me.
Well, and some of these guys, they're just doing it on purpose because they just don't like the movie. They don't like Snyder for some reason, you know. So they're going to use anything they can, you know,
excuse,
like any excuse to like, no. And even though it's clearly that, you know, in every other cinematic version except for George Clooney, that he's killed. In that movie.
He killed the franchise. That's what
yeah.
Like that's the one comment I saw. And I was like, that is hilarious.
That's good.
What did George Clooney kill?
That's an awfully big one.
Yeah.
I was like, that's awesome.
Man. I want to see that meme. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Somebody make that meme right now.
Someone made, they threw up the meme where he busts out the credit card, the bat card.
Oh, God. Yeah.
And it says, George Clooney killed the franchise.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's
that's
correct.
Good.
That's 100% true. It's worse than the others.
It amazes you that Warner Brothers let that shit be made, but wouldn't let Snyder continue his vision.
Right.
Yeah, back credit card? That's cool. Killing Lois Lane? No.
No, that's bad. Yeah. Well, they want to sell toys, you know. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That was that whole thing.
It's crazy.
I had my back credit card as a kid, too. Yeah.
Because it's crazy. In the comic book, people, they're Injustice. I love Injustice. I love that comic and whatever. But when it happens in the movies, it's like, no, it should be like Christopher Reeve and, you know.
We can't have
like,
evil
what
Superman.
Is going on?
It's
like weird.
Right, yeah. He chokes himself in the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again, guys. I think we're going to wrap it there.
That's fine. Cool. Thanks for having us.
Cool. Thanks for having us on this nice Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Dude, it was nice. Very morning for you, Chris.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
No worries. I was already up about early, you know, and my love my wife. She brought me a breakfast right here, and she took the kids out because they were making so much noise.
Nice.
I want to see Daddy.
He's working.
Yeah.
Yes.
Daddy's ours right now. Come on.
Yeah. So, well, thanks for putting this together, though. This is awesome.
And it was great meeting you guys.
Yeah,
for
Yeah,
sure.
great meeting you guys in person. Yeah,
That was a good time.
Jones Coffee Shop and stuff, and maybe someday we'll have there'll be another event,
Reunion.
maybe somehow, some way.
Yeah.
SnyderCon 2020.
Yeah, we'll do our own. We'll just go to Pasadena once again and figure out something.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Just somebody get a projector and just put it on the wall of Jones's
Yeah, I got
coffee
that.
shop.
I got that phone. I got that
Yeah,
phone that you can
see?
put the little projector
Yeah,
thing on
there
there.
you go.
And, oh crap! Really? That's awesome. Wow.
That'd be great.
Get a Bluetooth speaker and call it good.
Yes.
The employees
Stream
at
it
Jones
on
Coffee
Vero.
are like,
Yeah.
you guys can't do that here.
Yeah,
We gotta leave.
But Zack
We're just waiting for Snyder to walk in.
Yeah.
We're good. He said we can.
They're like, you gotta keep ordering coffee if you want to stay here. I'm sorry. We're all like wired and stuff.
All right, man.
All right, man. That's
Thanks
cool.
again, guys.
Awesome.
So I guess we'll end it with our thing here. In case I don't see you.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Good night.
All right. Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. You're one of very few to make it to the end.
Yes, thank you very much.
Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to Comic Movie Marks Podcast and hit the notification bell. You know, all these fucking YouTube channels say this shit, so I'm going to say it now.
Yes, it's perfect. And if you want to hear our full podcast, you can check out our podcast on iTunes or any other podcast subscription service.
Make sure you subscribe. Thanks again.